Hello.
Hi.
We're nearing the end of 2025.
I know, wild.
December as we record this. Might even be 2026 by the time it goes out.
Likely.
Which is a good place to start for today's episode. So, there is an article gone out on LinkedIn, and they've titled it 20 Predictions That Will Define 2026. So there's 20 things here to give our take on and see what we think and how they're going to look in 2026.
Yep. Let's do it.
Number one. I'm almost just going to give you the headline.
Am I going to just wildly disagree or wildly agree with?
No, I think there'll be a mix.
Okay.
I hope there'll be a mix. If you just agree with everything, it's going to be really boring.
1 minute episode.
Yeah. Apprenticeships will matter more than ever.
Yeah, I think that could be. There's already a bit of a rally behind apprenticeships.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think uni fees are obviously increasing. People are increasingly not going to uni and also then getting employment without a degree.
Yep.
It's not a prerequisite that it used to be for employment. So
No, I'd say 5 years, pre-pandemic really.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a requirement for most jobs to have a certain level of degree or whatever else, and I hope it's shifting a bit. It's definitely still out there.
Some places, yeah. I mean, there's certain occupations where I think it's still pretty relevant law.
Yeah, we've said this before, haven't we? If you want to become a doctor, obviously you need to go to uni.
Yeah.
But there's also lots of jobs where, personally, I think you probably learn better just doing it and being in it day to day and being in the environment than you would learning about it for 3 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to see a doctor go down that route.
Oh, God, no. No, not pushing that. There's a big push from the government as well on apprenticeships, which is interesting to see.
Yeah, that's where it gets a bit blurry though, isn't it? Mm-hmm. For me, structuring an apprenticeship, could you get more experience from just going and doing? Probably. I think structuring it starts to veer into the same sort of territories going down a formal education route.
So you're saying you see an apprenticeship as different to an entry-level job?
Yeah, I think lived experience is the highest value.
Do you not think you get that through an apprenticeship?
I think that when it's a formal, I'll rephrase that. When it's a funded apprenticeship, there's frameworks that you have to adhere to.
Like the hoops you have to jump through.
And the hoops. Yeah. And I feel like in true British government style, the hoops get in the way of actual value.
Yeah.
So I would urge employers to be liberal about stating that they don't really give a shit whether you've got a degree or not, and encourage people to just apply and then
open up those training level roles.
Yeah. One thing I'm considering at the moment is extended probation. So rather than trying to nail down in the hiring process whether someone's a good fit for what you're looking for and perfect fit, getting someone in, obviously you'd still have chemistry interview and you don't want to bring a dick into the business. But as far as skills go, I think extending probation gives the opportunity to really understand whether someone is a good fit and whether they're capable. And I think...
Because 3 months is actually not that long, which is the standard probation
period.
Well,
no one challenges the framework of probationary periods.
No, and also, you can act for 3 months.
Totally.
People's true colours really come out a lot further down the line. And obviously you can't have somebody on probation forever. But the 3 months period, within 3 months, I don't even think you barely even understood the business or the culture by that point.
It takes you that long, doesn't it, to get under the skin and get to know the lay of the land. And I just think, I'm looking at all the times we've done interviews and hired, and I'm starting to lean towards trying to trying less to get it right at that stage and putting more weight behind getting it right in actual practice. And I think extending probation periods at the moment, I haven't done it yet, at the moment makes sense to me.
I like that. So the next one.
Yes.
AI adoption will prompt a search for offline connection. 100%.
Yes, but that's social media.
It's talking about a lot
as
about
well.
loneliness, though, as well, which I think is interesting. It's something we've talked about quite a lot.
Yeah.
And how people are turning to AI as like a friend.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Like things that you would normally go and talk to like your partner or your mates or something about, people are using it as a little mate in their pocket, which scares the life out of me.
Yeah, I think there's a fine. We're walking a fine line at the moment, and the big 4 or 5 AI companies are all racing towards trying to achieve AGI, when in reality what we need to be focusing our time on is governance and real world application.
Mm-hmm.
And we're focusing on turning it into a consumer money machine.
Yeah.
Without thinking about the harm.
And what people are actually doing with it right now that's going to have huge effects in the next few years.
I think we've probably got about 12 months before we hit the point where it becomes that capable and that advanced that we're going to struggle to put a framework in place from a governance perspective.
And we'll be, yeah.
I think this time next year, not even as a nation, as a planet, if we do not put some framework in place, we're going to be in trouble.
So then bring it back to the offline connections and stuff. Obviously, this is something we touch on a lot internally from a marketing point of view, from a, how people communicate with brands, what they really want from marketing nowadays. How do you think that's going to show up more?
I think in terms of where people spend their time.
Yeah, because I think this is saying this will prompt a search for offline connection. But I kind of see, I can see it in 2 ways. I think there's lots of people that will actually almost go the other way. They'll become more isolated and less bothered about finding an offline connection because they'll become so wrapped up in the world where they've got social media, they've got, this little AI pal in their pocket they can talk to. I actually think there's 2 quite drastic sides to it. And then you get the other people who might have to maybe use that in work or use it day to day and then almost want to rebel from it when they're not needing it in the search for in real life stuff. And
yeah, I mean the worry is the loneliness side of it.
Yeah, I agree.
You've seen the lawsuits around the people that have killed themselves off the back of that's obviously the extreme worst case, but it's happening already.
But it's happened, yeah. Extreme worst case,
yeah.
But it's not just this is where it could go. It's actually already happened.
I think in an ideal world, which will never come into fruition, would reach a point where we'd apply it in the right way, which would mean that society would be able to work towards working less. Mm-hmm. That's where then lived experiences, group activity, like you look at the surge in running clubs and things like that.
Oh, I love a running club.
That could be the reality, but I don't know whether the commercial pressure and the race that's on at the moment is going to allow us to actually take a step back and think about how it's being applied.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there is definitely, but it's whether that search for being part of clubs and being part of communities and things isn't just from AI. I think that's also post-pandemic.
It's social media though as well.
Mm-hmm.
Social's got a lot to answer for.
But then also there's a lot of these people then post these things on social. It's a bit of a double-edged sword there.
Yeah, it's a tricky problem.
Yeah, it is.
It's a tricky problem. I just don't know whether we're capable of making the right decision.
See where that one goes. I found this really interesting. I ended up getting to right hole when I read this one. Smartphone giants will take on world automakers. So a lot of smartphone companies are actually looking to
It's happening,
harness
yeah.
the tech they've got and make cars now. Because
Yep.
basically they're saying that cars are just at a point where they're almost like a big smartphone with wheels.
It is, yeah.
So yeah, this is interesting because that is a whole shake-up of an entire industry there.
Yeah, I think it's already happening.
It is, yeah.
You've got Xiaomi,
Yep.
who are probably the biggest name in that space at the moment. Apple were going to do a car and I think canned the idea after billions of dollars worth of investment.
I think
However,
Samsung are.
are they doing it?
I
Okay.
think so.
I think if Apple released a phone, they would do a car. They would do very well out of it.
Wonder where that was going.
Yeah, no. If they did a car, I think they'd do really well out of it just because
Yeah.
of the brand.
And also, like, there's something about Apple products where when you're in Apple, you buy Apple.
Mm.
You know, if everything all syncs up and it all ties together, and that's a real draw. And if all of a sudden the extra piece of technology in your life, I mean, I don't have a particularly technology-based car, so I'm probably not the best person to give a.
Yep. Well,
I drive a diesel Jeep.
yeah. 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 I mean, I think it's going to continue to happen. 100%. I think the
If Apple released a car, you would buy it.
I would probably think about it. But
Yeah, you would.
it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like
Lee, what car do you have?
I've got a Tesla.
Exactly, you would buy an Apple car.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I mean, I don't think phone maker. I think from a tech standpoint, yeah.
It's the tech, isn't it? Yeah, and that's the way cars have gone. They're going more towards the tech avenue, and I think there's just a lot of blurring of lines between those industries now, which is really interesting.
Mm. Yeah, it's commoditized it definitely, but it will continue 100%.
Next one's kind of off the back of that. Self-driving vehicles will reshape Europe.
100%.
Yeah,
That's happening.
it's all linked, isn't it?
Autonomy, AI, robotics, and energy. I think are that's the trifecta of technology.
And that's where everything's
5 years.
moving. Yeah.
And Tesla do all three.
Mm-hmm. Women's health will finally get the attention it deserves.
Yeah.
Bloody well hope so.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I listened to a terrifying stat that it was something like, I don't know, ludicrous 91% of all funded clinical trials are
Based on
male focused. I was like, the fuck, how is that even possible?
It's a big thing. So I
Women
probably
are
get
the dominant population. There's 51% women.
and we live longer.
How is that a thing?
I probably get more of
And
this
you're
than
more
you.
complex.
Exactly, yeah, way more complex.
It's that blows my
The
mind.
cycles that our bodies go through are absolutely
It's fucking
mental.
ludicrous that is the
Guys literally
scale
just
of
hit
things.
puberty and then that's it. That's all you have to do. You're kind of just done for the rest of your lives at that point.
I think, yeah, that's probably fair. But yeah, I mean, the scale is just ludicrous.
Do you know what's pushed a lot of this though? Social media.
Mm.
I mean, you won't see it probably the same as I do because imagine our algorithms are slightly different.
Probably.
But there is a lot of people now, a lot of content creators, a lot of people that are highlighting this and pushing it and like really advocating for change. And I think it's hugely been down to, I mean, I'm sure there's more going on. That's the side I see, but there's a big movement for it on socials.
But I just don't understand it. I don't understand it from a commercial standpoint. Like pharma.
Women are often more health focused as well.
But pharma are not daft. Why would you not go after the larger population?
I don't know.
Like, fucking
Probably
honestly,
because it makes things more complicated.
Do
Do you know what I mean?
you know what comes with solving complicated problems, though?
Money.
I just
Shitloads of money.
honestly, I really don't get it.
No, it's wild. And there's like the stats around, I don't know what they are, I wonder if there's any in here, around like misdiagnosis.
Problem.
Huge, like where,
Again.
especially with heart problems is one of the big ones where like men would automatically
Do you know
be
why
diagnosed with
Do you know
heart problems.
what that is down to? Lack of clinical trials.
Yeah. Absolutely ludicrous.
It is wild. I do hope that by the end of next year we've seen some seismic shifts in that.
I would appreciate that, yeah. Okay. Smartphone free childhood will become a reality.
Yeah, I'm all
100%.
for that.
I'm
Yeah,
all for this.
I'm all for that.
And we're seeing it publicly now, like
Yeah, say that.
Australia banning social media.
So there's a difference though here. Like, I don't think the smartphone is the problem, as in the hardware, the technology. I think
It's the apps.
the content which lives on the web is the problem, and I think that comes down to companies like Meta
Yeah.
being lynched by shareholder value and not being strong enough to put proper frameworks and governance in place to protect younger people. And
To a point
that's
where
the
like
problem.
governments are now doing it themselves.
Yeah, but I mean, I advocate for technology big time. Like, I don't want my kids to be not exposed to tech because they're going to be surrounded by it.
But also the idea of having a phone so that you know where they are and they can be safe. You know, that's a really valuable thing. But also, at that point, they've literally got access to everything in their pocket, which scares the shit out of me.
Well, yeah, I think it needs to be done in the right way. I would never want my kids to have a phone so that they can consume TikTok content, for example, but I would want them to have a phone so that they can communicate appropriately. And also, you think about, like, money.
Mm-hmm.
It's very digital now. There's no... How do you learn about money? How do you access your bank? How do you manage your finances? It's all done through your phone.
Yeah, it's all too automatic,
and I think
isn't it?
that's got to play in the world that they're going to grow up in 10, 15 years' time is going to be even more technologically advanced and digital than it is now. So there's a balance to be struck, I think, between tech and what's being consumed through that technology. And I think it falls to a Meta, for example, to be fucking vigilant.
As a parent, how would you feel about your kids being on social media?
I wouldn't allow it, I don't think.
What age do you think you'd allow it?
I think for as long as I can get away with it.
Yeah.
I think if I could get them to 16, which is very optimistic, I would get them to that point. As it stands now, but that's probably me being able to look behind the curtain of what's out there and understand it and understand how the algorithms work.
But also the fact that we're both sat here as marketers
100%.
with that knowledge saying 16.
Yeah.
Saying like to stay away from it as long as possible.
That's the problem though, isn't it? Like I say, I love tech. I want my kids to be tech savvy. I don't want them to be pulled into the dark places that exist.
I think it's also like the habit building that social brings. Like, it's not even necessarily just the content, but it's the...
What's dopamine?
And the lifestyle that goes with it. You read Dopamine Addiction, that book?
Really, I've not read that.
It's really good.
Yeah.
You know, like the constantly having to buy things, constantly needing the next thing and filling your life with all this stuff. Like, I think it's really nice to live a life where that's not shoved in your face.
Consumerism.
Well, yeah, really. It's hard to get away from it, but...
Well, we're in marketing.
Exactly. I'm saying it. Whoops. Okay. Boards will zero in on supply chain security. So I think this is based off a lot of the cyber attacks we've been seeing recently.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been some really high profile ones like M&S, lots of others. Land Rover. I was going to say there's definitely another big one.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at that data chain and where like the weaknesses are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to become more prevalent.
I mean, it should be already.
The thing is, technology is advancing at such a rate, and unfortunately, in the world we live in, the increase in the speed of technology progressing means that the people that use it for bad are 10 steps in front.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and they're using the same technology at the end of the day as the people who are looking to prevent that happening.
Yeah, they will get there faster.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So fuck knows who's in charge or who's working on that in that space. But yeah, that's a hard job.
Because the people that are looking to fix it from the good side will be bound by budgets, time, whereas the people on the other side, ruthless.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about all that.
Okay, this is interesting. I don't really see much about this. Digital pills will reshape diagnosis and care.
Seen some interesting stuff in this, yeah.
There's the ones that you literally swallow them and they like diagnose anything that's wrong with your gut. They can like detect like inflammation, like there's certain diseases and stuff they can catch really early on. Very interesting.
I saw one the other day about cleaning out your arteries as well.
Oh, as in it actually?
As in, like it's like a micro robot, and instead of having a stent, you take this pill and it goes and gets rid of like a blockage, for example.
That's wild.
I mean, health in the next 10 years, healthcare is just going to be fucking ridiculous.
Well, the next one, number 9, is the next investment craze will be living longer. And that's
the next investment craze.
I think
longevity.
That's happening now.
Longevity's been going for quite some time, but again.
But it's more like I think it's more like the the biohackers.
But everything we're talking about is just advancement in technology. AI is probably behind the majority of that.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But it's interesting because I think all the areas it's touched are always areas that, as a human race, we've always been advancing in anyway. But it's just the acceleration of it at this point is wild.
Yep.
Do you follow that guy, the biohacker guy, the billionaire?
Oh, Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
I don't follow him, but yeah,
he's a knobhead, isn't he?
I know his story.
I mean, you can't get away from his stories. He's in the press all the time. But obviously that's quite a high profile case that kind of like everybody hears about a little bit. But that's, even he sort of said how much of that is down to AI and the advancements and how it's changed what they can do and what they can predict.
I think what AI's doing and is going to do is just commoditize information.
Yeah.
Even further than like the internet. And with information comes better choices, also worse choices. But yeah, I think the longevity thing's been building for quite some time.
Well, we've definitely, as a society, become a lot more health conscious.
I think the real exciting bit is the advancement in healthcare and treatment, because it's going to get to a point where we can solve a lot of big problems, and we're not going to then we're going to break the chain of command, which is currently prescription.
Yeah.
Drugs,
yeah, it's actually going to be fixing it rather
treatment.
than just...
We're going to get away from that. We're going to have the opportunity to actually cure and get the root cause sorted.
Oh, that's exciting.
I think it's probably in the next decade where we're going to get to that point. That's the best application of AI, though, in my perspective.
That's how we should be using it.
Do you know who's doing that really well? China.
Oh, really?
People are... All the propaganda around Chinese AI is that they're racing for artificial general intelligence so that they can be the superpower. But what they've done is they've applied it to solving energy crisis, solving cancer.
That's 100% what we should be using it for.
And they've also tried to apply it to improving their own economy. So robotics, manufacturing, they're taking it, looking at almost like micro application. Where can we apply it that will improve productivity? Where can we apply better healthcare, X, Y, and Z? And that's how they're doing it. They're not trying to reach a broad stroke, general population use case like a ChatGPT. They're literally taking the tech and they're applying it to very specific things and advancing that one thing exponentially. And that is having huge impact.
I love that.
That's how it should be done.
I mean, that's how the world should work. I listened to this thing on the radio the other day that was really interesting. It's about like morals and stuff like that. It's on Radio 4.
Radio 4. I was just going to ask what station.
I only listen to Radio 4. But it was about, a big part of it was around how like the cleverest people in the world are often in basically just big money making jobs, And imagine if all like those people with like the smartest brains and the cleverest people were actually focused on the real world problems, like fighting climate change, you know, like the things that actually would improve the world forever and do some like basic, some morally good. But it's not. It's always like, right, you're clever. You're going to be in a position that makes more money for everybody. It's very interesting.
God
Because
complex.
that feels a little bit like that.
It's ego.
Yeah. Yeah, massively. Okay. Equitable workplaces will attract top women's talent, so businesses that help women progress as quickly as men. I mean, yeah, you'd hope so.
Are we really talking about that in 2026? Is that a prediction? Is that not just the norm
is that not
now?
a given?
Are people really still employing women and holding them back in favour of men? Is that still something that we're following?
It's also like, obviously, if you've got a business that's actively says, oh yeah, we support women, we're going to push them further or whatever, obviously you're going to get top talent. It's a bit of a given, that, isn't it?
I think that's a tricky... that doesn't feel like a prediction.
No, it doesn't, does it?
That should be happening. I think what needs to happen is more voices around the people and businesses that are doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Okay. You'll like this one. I think we've spoken about this before. Your workout data will run your work day. So, this is actually something that some businesses have been trialling, where like data from like Whoop or like Aura or whatever, they use it to structure people's work days and work weeks.
I would love to read the data. Is there studies?
I think so. I've not looked too deep into it, but
Right.
I will look into this.
I need
that fascinates
to see data.
Because I think I told you I have a little GPT set up that asks me questions at the start of the day. I don't always use it, but when I do, and I get, because I've got an Aura ring, so I get like all my various scores, and part of that is based on like, what was your sleep score last night, like how do you feel, and that helps me decide like where my energy is going to be best focused.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
It's very invasive.
It's interesting.
I don't know as an employee how I would feel if my employer was doing it, but I, on a personal level, think I already operate like this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's so many angles.
Yeah.
It feels a bit reactive for me, that. So the reason why I've had Whoop I'm on my 3rd year of having a Whoop. Mm-hmm. The reason why I got it in the first place was obviously just to learn a bit more about me health and habits. And what I have learned is how it affects me day to day.
Yeah.
But it's also it's probably changed my preemptive approach to certain things.
Okay.
Rather than looking at it on a morning and then deciding what to do.
Yeah, like I don't necessarily do that every single day, but then I don't know. I think it makes you more aware of how things genuinely do affect you, and not just like affect you in a physical sense, but like affect your brain.
Yeah, that is a really interesting concept.
It is, isn't it? Mm. I was absolutely fascinated by this. I mean, I don't see that rolled out across businesses because I think it's too invasive. It's too personal.
The thing is, what do you do with it? It's like it's like someone giving someone license to say, "Oh, I'm on a red recovery day. I can't act that task today."
I think the good way to go about it would be the education within businesses and for employees around like actually the big impact certain things can have on you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't know about how that applies in a business context.
No, it's really tricky. Like, you can say to everybody out there, like, you do know if you sleep better, you're gonna perform better, right? And you'd be surprised that people, they know it, but they ignore it. But I think I don't know if you could show them the parallels and the data that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's too. I feel like that's too focused on downsides though as well. It'd be nice to flip that on its head and see performance stats and how positive experiences impact because what you get.
Agreed.
What you get there is like high pressure, high stress, toxic environments versus fair stress, mood enhancing, fulfilling roles, delivering better health scores, I imagine.
But also like like a flexible workplace that gives you more time for downtime and exercise.
Do you know what would be cool? If someone figured out like a B Corp score based on health data of your employees. Oh. Can you imagine? So if you've got a team, you've got an agency, two
wellness
agencies.
Score, like team wellness score.
Yeah. Like an agency sat over here that's got 100 staff and an agency sat over there that's got 100 staff.
Oh my God, should we get everybody a Whoop?
They do that.
Like
they do a corporate thing, yeah.
Do they really?
Mm-hmm. So you could have like a company wellness score. I imagine that a shit agency or a shit company would have a bad score where it was like fucking overstressed, under resourced.
That would be interesting, actually.
Yeah. Because
then also the people that do care about that and care about that lifestyle would be the ones that would gravitate towards you as well.
Yeah. Like-minded employees. It'd be a good match.
And then that just builds a culture of people that are all in the same mindset as well. Which is
super
nice to be surrounded around. Oh. I'm not going to do them all because there's loads left and we've been in here.
Yeah. We are rounding out like a whole year.
God, yeah, there's a lot. We're only on 12.
All right,
there's 20. All right, here's one. Text will become the new battleground for brand trust. Very interesting. Text. So obviously, we've lived in a very visual led world for a while.
It's going to get worse before it gets better. AI, again, is going to pollute
text.
Video. I think AI's impact on text came and went.
Yeah.
And I think AI's impact on video and image is happening now with Nano Banana and GPT-2. Mm-hmm. 5.2 just come out. So those two models are both capable of doing some very cool things. Sora has obviously flooded the world with absolute shite.
Every other video now.
So people's trust in that kind of content has gone down loads. So written word, I can see how that would then.
And storytelling.
Bring it back.
Storytelling.
I saw something on LinkedIn the other day about brands craving storytellers. I was like, yeah. That should have been a thing for the last 20 years.
Hopefully every marketer knows that.
Honestly,
it's like the key to marketing.
Yeah. It would have been a guru of it. But yeah, I can see how that would happen.
Yeah.
Trust. I think trust in general, if you've got trust in the back of your mind when you're doing anything and you're building brand, good.
I think as well, we're starting to see a bit of a shift from the dopamine hitting short form content where you're constantly on the next thing. People are starting to crave
deeper.
Like, obviously we know the uptake in like reading novels has skyrocketed in the last few years. And like even just out in the office, like we've got a little group on Slack where we all talk about like what books we read and stuff like that. And 5 years ago, there'd have probably been half the people in it. Like people are gravitating more towards the things you can get lost in, and if a brand can replicate that experience in long form content.
Depth.
Not very good at that, are they, brands? I just don't even think this is a new one. Tomorrow's luxury sector will run on stardom. Luxury already does that. Like, think of every single perfume commercial you see.
Yeah, that's...
I don't think that's new.
That's a moot point.
Okay, here's one. Global trade will shift, prioritising resilience over cost.
That's a big topic.
It is.
Resilience over cost. So what are they insinuating that like manufacturing will move back to local?
Yeah, I think it's about more supply chains. Yeah.
Do you know what? I can see that, but then you've got the cost battle.
Yeah.
So the reason why things are largely produced offshore is because it's cheaper to do so. But we are seeing moves from Apple, for example, who have just put $500 billion into the US to start producing chips.
Because they've got no choice, really, because everything else gets tariffed so bloody high.
But I do believe in local goods.
No, I do too, massively. I mean, the benefits to the economy, you know, to like fossil fuels, or like there's so many benefits to it, but it's not a quick shift, and there's also a lot of businesses that aren't.
The problem you've got, I know that's just manufacturing, but robotics and AI is going to reduce the need for people to be present in that process, which means that was a huge benefit of manufacturing before. It meant that it created loads of jobs, where that's going away. That's going to be automated. So is that really going to benefit a country?
Where do you think everybody's going to go? You know, like everybody that works in manufacturing, where do you think, what?
It's
because
a huge problem. It's a problem.
What does tend to happen is, like, when one industry shifts massively, it almost opens up gaps elsewhere that those people move into, but I don't really know what that is at the moment.
Well, this is what I was saying, though. This is where governance on AI needs to be put in place sooner rather than later, because as a society and as a planet, we're going to have to navigate and be considerate to the social disruption it's going to cause. You're talking about mass joblessness at a level that we've never even come close to. Like, you think about, we talked about autonomous driving.
Yeah.
Driving's the biggest employer in the world globally.
Is it? Is it really?
Yep. Think about lorry drivers, taxi drivers.
There's so many different
cargo,
bits to it.
So much. It's the biggest employer, if you want to call it that, like people in driving jobs.
I
in
just
the
would
world.
never have guessed that.
And you think we're probably staring down the barrel of maybe another 18 months before driving becomes pretty much completely autonomous. Think about the job displacement on that and what that's going to look like. And what do you do with someone that's driven for 20 years, 30 years?
Because what they've said in the past is, like, you know, when they first started bringing in, like, machinery into, like, factories and stuff like that, and it was like, but we'll need people to maintain this machinery. But, like, the autonomous cars and electric cars don't need the same levels of, like, mechanics that traditional vehicles need. So it'd be like, it's not enough there for all those people to go.
You can't retrain 100 million people to be a mechanic. There's not enough.
That's just been driving a car all their life.
Not enough work to service. But this is the thing. That's why it needs governance, and it needs the social economic impact of it is being wildly underplayed. And there's talk of like universal basic income because of the efficiencies it will make in like energy prices and healthcare and all this kind of stuff. But I'm like, that we're not there yet.
No,
there's going to be a period of time.
There's a lot of problems to solve first.
There's going to be a period of time where the job displacement issue causes more problems than the advancements in autonomous driving is going to save. It's a huge issue that people are just completely overlooking.
Do you have any predictions for 2026?
Marketing related ones or just general ones?
Maybe marketing related.
Marketing related.
You know, they probably relate to everything else, to be fair. It's all linked up, isn't it?
I think everything that we've talked about kind of relates to us in a way. Which way? I think the way in which marketers market will shift. I think gaming things and quick wins and immediate results will be challenged by agencies to the point where it's probably going to disappear. I think we're going to go back to a point where marketing theory and actual thought will go into strategy, and I think the value that is going to be placed on strategy as a skill is going to increase exponentially.
And the lifetime value of marketing.
Yeah.
Not just the immediate.
Yeah. I think it's going to go back to a real way of thinking. I think the tools in which we're going to be able to deliver that are going to advance, and I think the way that certainly in digital you're going to have to go about it is going to change massively. But I think fundamentally we're going to have to pull it back, and I think there's going to be a big surge in people looking for proper marketing strategy that's going to tie into things like product development, for example, and you're going to start being asked to have conversations with people in businesses that you've never even had exposure to, like buyers. Yeah. Because you're going to need that level of detail to get the impact that's required.
So it's going to be having that insight from like development stage as opposed to just, here's a new thing, we want you to shout about it.
Marketers have always had the difficult job of embedding themselves and learning the business of the client's business to enough of a degree to understand what they need to understand about that business to market it properly. But that depth that's going to be required moving forwards is going to increase exponentially. So being afforded as a supplier of marketing to spend the time doing that, which something, if you said to someone, a brand 10 years ago, we need to spend 6 months, 2 days on site every month for 6 months, workshopping, learning your brand, getting under the skin of everything, they've been like, I'm not fucking paying for that.
Yeah, what's that? Somebody else?
How much is that going to cost me, and how much am I going to get back the next day for it?
Yeah.
That's not going to be the case. You're going to need to be putting budget against activities like that tie into strategy. And they're going to
start wanting it.
Which gives marketers an opportunity to become even more invaluable.
I like that.
It's not a prediction, I think it's just the way it's going.
Kind of is.
Yeah.
Take it as one.
What about you? What's your prediction?
I think the brands with community are the ones that are going to win. You know, talk to, and not just like in-person communities. I think any marketing now on any channel needs to be moving towards people feeling like they're part of a bigger thing, not just having something thrown at them, which is where a lot of the regurgitated marketing we've seen in the last, I don't know how many years, is very much gone. And you can see it starting to happen in certain industries are better at it than others, but I think it's going to become very, very important for every industry, and ones that have never gone down that route before as well.
It is forcing brands to think about how they make people feel, which is the right way to market.
And we've forgotten that for a while.
And I think if you remember that and you weave that into your thinking at a strategic level, that's how you build a community. Yep. And all you're aiming for there is recall at the right moment. Yeah.
And it's thinking, I think it's that direction of a lot of brands and a lot of marketers would come at any plan or any kind of strategy with, this is what we need to sell, this is what needs to happen. And I think it's that step away from that and into the shoes of the customer and being like, in 6 months, this is what they might want. And I'd love to say that's happening now. It's happening in very small parts now.
There's still too much. Is 100 grand how many customers or products are we going to get for that going on?
Immediately as well.
You're not going to be able to, by this time next year, you're not going to be able to operate like that.
I think it's already starting to very much shift that way. Like, it's not as easy to sell people. We know it's not. It's not as easy to get a product off the shelves just by putting an ad out. it needs so much more to it, like depth, like you said.
Yeah. We need Super Bowl strategy on a daily basis.
Strategy. Oh, I'm here for that.
Yeah, that's what I think would be my opening line.
Yeah,
for
fully
26.
down for that. Let's weave that into every meeting, you know. Yeah, that's how we'll start every brainstorm. What would we do if this was the Super Bowl?
Yep, there you go. Sets it up.
That's everybody's line to take away.